When we think of old age, we often talk about aching knees, fading eyesight, or the silence of an empty home. But there's another kind of pain no one warns you about. The quiet ache of love that doesn't come back the way it once did. It's that hollow feeling in your chest when you walk into a room full of people you raised and realize no one truly sees you anymore. You smile, you help, you listen, but their eyes drift somewhere else. You go home, sit in your favorite chair, and tell yourself, they're just busy. But deep down, a whisper lingers. When did love start needing reminders? Don't beg for love in old age. You've already earned it 1,000 times over. Now it's time to live with dignity, with peace, and with the quiet strength that life has carved within you. Part 1. The years you gave without counting. There was a time when every heartbeat of your life belonged to someone else. You woke up early, worked late, worried endlessly. You carried other people's dreams while setting your own aside. You gave and gave, not because you had to, but because love made it impossible not to. You wiped tears in the middle of the night. You stayed strong when everyone else fell apart. You made birthdays special when the money wasn't enough. You cooked, mended, built, prayed, and in all of it, you forgot how much of yourself was disappearing quietly in the background. And yet you didn't complain, because that's what love does. It carries the load without keeping score. But here's the truth most people don't say aloud. When the world slows down, and those same people you once held now have their own lives, you start to wonder, was all that love a chapter that ended, or a book no one's reading anymore? Part 2, the moment you start to feel invisible. Maybe it started with something small, a phone call not returned, a birthday forgotten, a visit cut short. You tell yourself it's nothing, but little by little, you begin to fade from the center to the edges. You start speaking less at family dinners because your story seemed too long for their hurried attention. You stand in their homes, watching your children rush between work and deadlines, your grandchildren lost in glowing screens. And you remember when you were the one holding it all together, when your presence was the heartbeat of the home. Now you feel like furniture, still, dependable, but unnoticed. They love you, yes, but often in memory more than in the moment. That's when the quiet temptation begins, to chase affection, to do more just to be seen, to bring gifts, advice, help, hoping this time they'll notice. But love that must be begged for will always leave you emptier than before. Part 3, what it means to live with dignity. To live with dignity in old age doesn't mean turning cold or bitter. It means remembering who you are, even when others forget. It means walking into a room not asking for attention, but carrying your peace like a gentle light. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. You are the roots, the reason someone else can stand tall. And roots do not beg branches for shade. Living with dignity means choosing where to place your heart. It means not visiting out of guilt, but out of genuine joy. It means saying no to people and places that drain you, and yes to what fills you with life again. Part 4, a story of Mr. Ellis. There's a man I once met, Mr. Ellis, 79 years old. Every Sunday, he'd drive to his son's house. He'd fix little things, a loose hinge, a squeaky door. He'd bring oranges from his garden, the ones his late wife used to love. He'd sit quietly on the couch while everyone else scrolled through their phones. Sometimes his granddaughter would look up, smile politely, then drift back to her screen. One day after another visit cut short, Ellis sat in his car for a long time before turning the key. He said to me later, "I realized I keep showing up hoping to feel needed, but all I feel is tired." The next Sunday he stayed home. He made tea, sat by the window, and watched the birds pick fruit from his tree. He said it was the first peaceful Sunday he'd had in years. That's what dignity looks like, choosing your peace over your pain. Part 5, the turning point, from begging to belonging. There comes a moment in every life when you must stop chasing what doesn't return your love. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Love doesn't have to come from the same places it used to. You can find belonging in new people, in neighbors who wave each morning, in the old friend you finally call again, in the quiet satisfaction of watering your garden, or the joy of learning something new, even if it's just painting, poetry, or walking under the sun. You are not a shadow waiting at someone's door. You are the sunrise that still has light to give. When you live like that, from fullness, not emptiness, you begin to attract people who see you, who listen when you speak, who laugh with you, and who make time without you asking. That's the peace you were meant to have. Part 6. Understanding the children's side. Now let's speak truth with compassion. Your children, they aren't bad. They are just caught in the web of the world you helped them build. They are running fast because that's how modern life rewards people now. Speed, achievement, ambition. The slower rhythm of your wisdom doesn't fit neatly into their crowded calendars. But here's the thing. The day will come when they too will sit alone and wonder why the world stopped listening. And that's when they'll remember you. The quiet dignity with which you stood. The grace with which you let go. That memory will become their mirror. So don't waste your years waiting for them to understand. Live in a way that will teach them when they're ready. Part 7. The story of Maria. Maria was 75 when she stopped visiting her daughter every weekend. For years, she'd arrive early, cook her famous stew, and leave with a quiet ache when no one really ate it. One day, she simply didn't go. She stayed home, joined a book club, started taking walks by the lake, and learned to laugh again. 3 months later, her daughter called. "Mom, why don't you come by anymore?" Maria smiled and said, "Because I want to spend my time where I feel loved, not just where I feel useful." It wasn't said with anger, but with the softness of someone who's finally at peace. And slowly something changed. Her daughter began visiting her, sitting longer, listening more, and realizing that love grows best when it's not demanded, but reciprocated. Part 8. The art of loving yourself again. When you stop begging for love, you make space for something more sacred. Self-love. It's not the loud, selfish kind the world advertises. It's quiet and tender, like making yourself tea in the morning and whispering thank you to your own heart. It's buying yourself flowers because you like them, not because anyone else will see them. It's forgiving yourself for the times you tried too hard, stayed too long, and expected others to see your worth before you did. You are not a guest in your own life. You are its host. So open the door wide for joy, for laughter, for peace. Part 9. The importance of boundaries. Respect in old age is not earned through anger. You don't shout for it. You embody it. It begins with boundaries, the invisible lines that protect your peace. It's okay to say, "No, I can't babysit today," or "No, I won't travel that far anymore." Boundaries don't push love away. They teach others how to value it. When you hold those lines with grace, people start to see your strength again. They remember you are not fragile. You are seasoned. And that quiet power commands a different kind of respect. Part 10. Building your own circle. The world is still full of people waiting for someone like you. There's a man at the park who walks alone every morning. There's a widow who makes tea for one. There's a young soul who longs for a mentor's voice. Reach out. Start a small group. Even if it's just 3 people reading, laughing, or sharing stories. When you share your time where it's appreciated, you stop surviving and start living again. You find that life after 70 is not an ending, but an unveiling, the season where your soul finally breathes freely. Part 11. The root and the branches. You are the root, not a broken branch. The root doesn't chase the branches. It nourishes quietly, deeply. Your children may grow in different directions, and that's okay. Their distance doesn't erase your love. You can still bloom in your own soil, still draw sunlight into your days, because your worth never depended on how close they stayed. It lived in the life you built, the values you taught, the laughter that once filled those walls. Hold that truth gently, and you'll find peace in every season. Part 12. The inevitable return. One day life will slow them down too. They will feel the same ache you do now, the weight of time, the longing for voices that have gone quiet. And that's when they'll remember the calm way you smiled even when forgotten, the grace with which you chose peace over pity. They'll call, they'll visit, and if they do, welcome them with warmth, but not with need, because love given freely is far more powerful than love begged for. Part 13. The Mirror of Age. Growing older isn't punishment, it's revelation. It strips away what never mattered and leaves behind what always did. When you look in the mirror, don't see wrinkles. See the map of every place love has lived. Every line is proof that you care deeply, even when it hurt. And if your reflection ever feels lonely, remember, peace doesn't need company to exist. It lives quietly inside those who no longer chase it. Part 14. Finding Purpose Again. Peace grows in motion. It's in the garden you tend, the letters you write, the songs you hum when no one's around. Purpose doesn't end when the children leave. It simply changes shape. Maybe your purpose now is to be the gentle voice others need, to volunteer, to listen, to remind someone younger that patience still matters. Even in silence, you are teaching. Even in solitude, you are shining. Part 15. The Final Truth. There's a saying, the greatest tragedy is not growing old alone, but growing old begging for love you already carry inside. Let that truth settle in your heart, because you do carry love inside you. The same love that once held a crying child, that forgave without condition, that stayed through storms. That love is still yours. It never left. It's just waiting for you to turn it inward now. Live these years not as an apology, but as a reward. Wake up each morning, look at the sunrise and whisper, I've earned this peace. If your children remember you, let them remember your laughter, your calm strength, your quiet pride. Let them say, she didn't beg to be loved. She was love, steady and unwavering. And if they don't remember right away, that's all right too, because life has a way of circling back to honor those who lived with grace. So sit by your window, pour yourself tea, smile at the world, because even if no one walks through your door today, peace already has. You are enough. You always were, and you don't need to beg to prove it anymore.